Hi everyone, welcome to Mondays with Mel. My name is Melissa Chung-Mowat and I am your NDP candidate running in the federal riding of Winnipeg North. Thank you so much for joining us today. Mondays with Mel is all about connecting with community, constituents, and thought leaders around realities that influence the lives of folks living in Winnipeg North. The theme that we always come back to is all of us together. I'm really so happy to be joined today by the folks from Vincent Design. Vincent Design is an Indigenous-owned business located in Winnipeg North at the Social Enterprise Center. And so we have Shaun Vincent joining us today, as well as Chris Redekop. And yeah, I'm just really so happy to have you here today. I know the two of you a bit from the Social Enterprise Center and also from the Aboriginal Chamber of Commerce. But yeah, maybe I'll let you introduce yourselves as well. Shaun, do you want to start?
Sure. Put me on the spot. Yeah. Vincent Designs, I'll make it quick, formed in 2007. And we've been in business ever since. Chris Redekop is, I'm not going to talk for him, but he's works with me. He's my accounts manager. And yeah, primarily, I would say most of our clients are Indigenous-based clients, organizations, communities, First Nation, Métis, Inuit. And yeah, we do branding and website design and anything that any community would need or any company would need in terms of marketing and advertising.
Yeah, and Shaun's from St. Laurent, Manitoba, and representing the Métis community.
Yeah, definitely Winnipeg and St. Laurent. I still have the land that my great-grandpa had, and yeah, it's fantastic to be a part of that community.
Amazing. Chris?
Yeah, so I've been friends with Shaun for, I want to say, probably 15 years. And was that pretty accurate? I don't know.
Probably longer, but sure.
Something like that anyway. But we've only been working together for about the last 4.5 years or so. But I met Shaun around the time when he started his company. And then as his kids got older and into school and he had more time to kind of invest in the business, things grew, and then he asked me to join him, so I did, and it's been growing ever since. I've been living in the North End for about that same amount of time too. I met Shaun actually just shortly after I moved back to Manitoba after kind of bouncing around Canada for about 8 or 9 years. Yeah, it's been great. Social Enterprises Center is great. We love all the people here. We love the community. Like I said, I've been here for a long time, so I know of the organizations and have had like overlap in my personal life with them for a long time. And I love doing the kind of work that we do, which is real meaningful work, which is sometimes hard to come by, I think, in the creative marketing industry.
For sure. And yeah, I think it's so awesome. I was so excited when I got to see your office for the first time at the Social Enterprise Center, because it used to be just a storage space. And I knew there was so much more potential there. I don't have a design eye whatsoever, but what you've done with the space is just incredible. So if folks ever have the opportunity, once things open up and need some design work, I really recommend people check it out, because it's a gorgeous space. And you know, we worked together for a little while before COVID hit. Mick had an office there, and so we got to work together just a little bit, but yeah, unfortunately things kind of shut down after that. And to touch on that, I'm just curious, how have things been for your business and you know, just over the last year and a bit, what has it been like to work now through COVID?
COVID, we've been so fortunate. Our company has been the trajectory has been going nowhere but up. We actually hired over COVID. We were super busy. Yeah, no, we really kind of bucked the trend on that one, and like I said, we were super fortunate to just have a consistent source of work so that we can pay everybody. And but yeah, we really didn't see any negative impact, and I feel almost bad saying that, considering what's going on in the community and how many people are losing and have lost opportunities because of closing of restaurants and hairdressers and all these, you know, essential services, in my opinion. So it's tough. It's a tough thing, but so So I'm kind of reluctant to say that we are doing great. But it's, yeah, like I said, we're very fortunate to definitely have had not been affected by it by much.
It's kind of sad, and everybody's feeling the impact of this, but it's sad to see the event-based stuff go away, not just in terms of like the work that we were doing for those organizations, but it's just, I miss going to networking events. I miss going to, fundraising events and meeting people that have overlapping industry kind of touch points with us. But yeah, those gaps have kind of filled with other work, and I think yeah, it's been good. The only real challenge is, I think, for creative people, it's nice to gather around the drafting table sometimes. So I'm looking forward to at least having the creative staff back here so we can sit down face to face and talk about ideas together.
Yeah.
I know. The Social Enterprise Center is nothing but just that. It's a social enterprise center, right? And so that's the toughest part too, because we have an open door policy at our office where anyone can come in and visit. People have lunch in our office from other places, so it's really cool. And that's sort of part of our philosophy and our atmosphere that we've always strived to maintain. And we don't have that anymore. And it's that one, I think, is really kind of what hurts the most. We really like to see communities. As you know, with working a lot in Indigenous companies and organizations, face-to-face meetings and in-person meetings are paramount. And so these Zoom calls, no offense here, but it just doesn't, it's not the same. Even in meetings when smudging doesn't happen, all these things, like just little details, you're missing now. And yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
But we're almost there.
We're almost there. And I so agree, this last weekend with things just opening up a little bit, having that opportunity to meet some folks in the community is just a beautiful reminder of what we've been missing out on, but that, we're coming back to. And I think when we talk about the Social Enterprise Center, and, it's not, it is about that co-collaboration and the innovation that happens when people can it's those kind of passing by conversations sometimes that can have such an impact and just really inspire like new ideas, right?
It's funny because actually when I ran into you you and I met each other at a grocery store just a couple of days ago in our area. And I was thinking about that. It's like we're so starved for those in-person social interactions that I was like, I could easily have sat there for like half an hour and just like visited, because when else do we get to see people in real life?
Oh, dude, you should see when I'm walking down the street and I meet like, another person with a dog. I'm like all clingy and stuff.
Yeah, it's so true.
Well, yeah, we'll get back there. And it's I think that especially like you're saying in this work and the work that we do in community, that connection and that trust building and that like walking alongside community, understanding people from where they're at is really like, I think probably impacts design work. I don't come from that world, but I'm positive it does. And, in my world too, you can't really understand, what's happening and then the strengths and the vision without that. There is that component lacking, but we're getting back there. And I think what I've have come to learn a bit about your recent work too. So you've been involved with the Protect Our People campaign. And so I think the website ProtectOurPeople.ca.
It's ProtectOurPeopleMB.ca.
Yeah.
And,
yes. The design is beautiful, but it's clear that the consultation that happened in community to really, roll out the true purpose of it. Maybe you can speak a bit about the Protect Our People campaign, and I think we're hearing about all the successes and what it's done within the community as far as building trust and removing barriers to vaccinations.
Yeah, so there was an incredibly diligent First Nation-led working group that really laid the foundation, all the groundwork for the campaign, with representatives from now, Shaun, help me if I forget anybody, but
Southern Chiefs Organization,
MKO. Yeah, AMC
KIM, AMC,
and
the
First Nations Health Secretariat.
Yeah.
So they really like provided all the data, all the information, all the kind of foundational direction as far as like what they were hoping to accomplish, and then organized a list of personalities for talent that would potentially participate in this and get the message out from individual to individual.
Can you tell us what that mean? I mean, the tagline I think says a lot, but can you elaborate a little bit about that? What that main message and goal was?
You want me to go?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
I just wanted to also state that this campaign, I mean, it's obviously was spearheaded by the province. It was a province. It was originally from the province. They figured they needed something, other than this Protect MB, which is the classic, the province branded campaign. But this was originally put forth to all. It was to all Indigenous organizations, including the Métis ones as well. So, but time and COVID restraints basically made it to what it is now. And Métis, the Métis Federation, all that kind of stuff, they had their own thing. So it just kind of makes its way. The general idea of it was to have it all encompassing, and I think it's still there. It's like 90%.
Not only that, but sorry to interrupt, but the reach of some of the other ongoing campaigns didn't quite get to. There's like, what were there, 80 plus First Nation communities that had vaccine clinics outside of Winnipeg that were really not under the umbrella of any ongoing campaigns. Which is
a perfect example on how amazing it was to have, like KIM, Barry Lavely and Tina Legree. Yeah. Really helping out with their experience in dealing with delivering vaccines and how to implement these systems into these remote communities. So that really helped us get an idea on where we should focus the message and where we should focus what demographic we should be focusing on. And it was brought to us that based on their research, limited research again, everything was limited because of COVID. We were limited in time, we were limited in resources, we were limited in everything. So based on the research, it was established that the main demographic that was anti-vaccination and all these other things was women between, I think, like roughly,
or not necessarily anti, but
vaccine hesitant. Yeah, good point. I think it was like 18 or 20 to 35. Like it was young women essentially. And so we had to really gear our messaging and the look and feel based on that. And then our experience in marketing and social media, we also realized that, how important influencers are to that demographic. So it was our idea that to really utilize influencers and have leaders within the First Nation and Indigenous community speak on behalf of that demographic. You can't have that voice coming from the province. No one's going to believe it. You can't have it coming from these organizations because they're large organizations as well, and they just may not resonate with this younger demographic. So we figured, let's have the voice speak, let their voices speak. And so our first big interview or big conversation we had was with Michael Redhead Champagne, and so we pitched 3 ideas. We went with one, and then we talked to Michael, and Michael really put us on a completely new trajectory based on his experience in the community, and it blew our minds. We presented 3. They all loved one. Michael chose the second one, which is more focusing on protecting our people. We knew those messages were going to be there in general for all 3, but it was mostly how we really concentrated on the core message. And so the core message that he thought we should focus on was just that. We should be protecting our people, and based on his experiences within the community, on all of the things that he has been involved with, that really resonated with young people, because a lot of young people really want to connect with their culture again.
Yeah.
And they especially in the core area, what they're missing is that connection.
Yeah.
They don't know where they stand. They feel lost. And so this is what he told us. And I basically, we had to go back to the working group in the province and say, listen, we bought the social media handles, we bought the domain, we went and designed the logo, we went everything, and we just basically turned it right upside down. And thank goodness we did, because and thank thankful to be able to talk to Michael about it, because this resonated far better.
And I think, it speaks so much to, one, how critical it is for these kinds of initiatives, and like how much strength and innovation, and how communities know what they need, right? They know what they need, and we need the resources to support that, and also to come with that ability to really truly listen, right? And to take that feedback and to pivot, because I can imagine that, you went down that road, and it took some work to refocus, but look at how successful the campaign has been, and given that, like, your ability to be nimble and open, and there's, I think it's really incredible. And I think there were some recent articles and statistics out about how, this kind of community-driven initiatives have increased, uptake. There's been a solid and very clear correlation between this work and getting that vaccine out, and how successful it's been.
Yeah, it's interesting. Just during the talent or participant acquisition period of the campaign, when we were reaching out to people to join us and start spreading the message, even among that group, there's a couple of people that I spoke to that they were like, well, I'm not really sure if I'm going to get the vaccine. I was like, well, that's interesting. Well, let's talk about that. And then through the course of participating, they managed not only to get themselves vaccinated, but also bring other community members and family members on board to move forward in that direction too.
Beautiful.
But that's the key, though. That was the whole purpose of this, including getting Dr. Marsha Anderson involved in this and having her be so respected. And it's we want to see our faces in the media. We want to see our faces doing exactly what everyone else is doing, and that's the key, right?
Yes.
So you have this amazing doctor who just knows her stuff, and advocating for this and talking and constantly talking and being the go-to for support and knowledge and wisdom and all this stuff. People, especially around that demographic that we're looking at, that's what clicks. That's what makes me go, okay, all right.
Yeah, she's a younger practitioner.
I'm going to go get my vaccine. Exactly.
A younger practitioner who also just has rock solid medical acumen.
And it shows, again, representation matters. We need to see ourselves reflected back, and it's so important, and to engage people in that representation is so critical. We don't have a ton of time. I want to talk much more about this because there's so much good here, and I just think it's awesome. So I will direct people to the website and to your website to learn more. Do you have more samples of what you've created as far as the marketing piece? So we saw your mask.
Yeah, just give me 1 sec.
Sure.
I have a box right next to me. I'll pull a few things out.
Okay. I should have asked beforehand. So I'll pull out a couple of those things. Maybe we can end on two things. One, if people are interested in accessing some of this material, like the masks and all that, will there be an option to do that? And how can people do that?
Yes, absolutely. You're not the first person to ask. There's so many people asking about how can I get these masks? How can I get the badges or patches or anything? And so we're actively right now going as fast as we can, getting a system online that will be able to just sell them and buy them. You can just order them and have them delivered. To answer your question, yes, it's in the works. And I have a sneaky feeling this whole vaccination thing is not going to be going away for a while. So these masks will still be relevant. And they're still beautiful. So we're hoping to have anyone who wants them to be able to have access to buying them and stuff. And all proceeds, this is what we're talking about really quickly. All proceeds are going to go to social services that
Indigenous scholarships and outreach programs.
Perfect.
Yeah. So something else we talked a lot about was just how this campaign could live on beyond a vaccine rollout, and the idea of protecting Indigenous culture is still going to be important after we get over COVID. So to that end, we're working on a mural right now also in the Main Street project that will hopefully live on for many years beyond COVID in this campaign.
Perfect. You're right. This is just a start. We have work to do, and
show the swag, man.
Yeah. So every First Nation clinic outside of Winnipeg was sent one of these. And then we just now have started a broader distribution. So there are other outreach organizations, community centers, even some testing sites. And further north communities that are going to be receiving some of these. All the urban Indigenous clinics have materials from here distributed throughout Winnipeg, Brandon, Thompson, and Portage la Prairie. And inside there are, of course, the masks, patches.
I love those.
Stickers, vaccine stickers, and then posters with images and quotes from the participants in the campaign. So Sherry McKay, Brandy Woodhouse, Leonard Sumner, William Prince, Dr. Anderson and I'm missing somebody, Michael Champagne. Yeah, sorry if I forgot somebody. And the posters also have quotes from them explaining why getting the vaccine is important to them. So a big part of this campaign is sharing personal stories, which is what we've been encouraging people to do through social media. So anytime, like there have been some people outside of the campaign participants like Nahani Fontaine, Grand Chief,
Arlen Dumas.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Garrison Satie.
There's some other ones too, but they share stories and then we repost them on the campaign.
Actually, I'm not sure whether Garrison, but Arlen Dumas for sure. He was there at the event at Mumaway with Dr. Marsha Anderson. But
yeah, correct.
We wanted this primarily to be influencer based, and a lot of people are jumping on, obviously, for they want to be involved, and we're so super happy to have anyone be involved. So.
Well, I added the filter to one of my Facebook profile photos because I was like, so this is amazing. And if people like, I recommend people follow the Instagram page and to keep up to date, Protect Our People MB, is that the handle?
Protect Our People MB. Yeah, that's on Instagram is the primary platform, but you can find us on Twitter and Facebook as well. And most of the kind of medical information on eligibility, expanded information on how to sign up for vaccines and Q&As and all that kind of stuff is on the website. And then we do roughly, I think, daily posts on updates for any new news on COVID on the social media platforms.
Okay, amazing. I can't wait to see when the merch goes live. I'm going to be one of the first in line to get my patch and a few masks. Cool. Alrighty, well, to wrap things up, thank you again so much for your time, Shaun and Chris. It's really wonderful to connect. And Chris, I feel like I'll be seeing you at the grocery store much more often now that, we probably passed by each other many times. So we like to end with our question. Why is your community important to you, and how do we work together to build on its strengths? Maybe Chris, do you want to start us off first?
Yeah, I mean, it's important to me because I think the social fabric of the North End, and St. B is similar in a lot of ways too, is very individual to individual driven. It's something I noted when I meet friends in suburbs outside of the central areas of Winnipeg, is you don't have those kind of over the fence conversations. And it doesn't matter what spot somebody's in. I've had neighbors who have been in rough spots and I help them out, and vice versa. So that kind of community-based thinking is why I think it's important to invest my time and energy into these kind of projects.
Amazing, thanks. Shaun?
Yeah, I think the importance of community is, I think, just communities in general is missing. I think there's a big part of that's missing, and I think that, if I look down, I'm looking up down my street here as Chris is talking, and we all know each other, and we all support each other, and some of us might have mental issues, and some of us might have disabilities, and we support each other. That's what we're missing right now. We're missing, everyone's afraid to try and help everyone. And this could be in the North End, it could be anywhere really. But I think it's more important in the core area because of just how there's so much history there. And of course, the people that are there, I think it's super important to get that back. And I think that's what's going to really save us. And that's why these services, a lot of these social services, especially in the core area, are so important to be funded. They're so important to be relied upon. Them having on the days that it was super hot, all these little things are so important to have. And that's what I think is going to get us back to this sense of being a community. In the country, it's the same way, right? In the country, when I can walk down the road, I can go to anyone's house and everyone's going to help me, That's what's kind of missing here. And I think that's what we need to get back.
Yeah, and you're so right. It's so critical to build on the good work that's happening within these community organizations and within, you know, like there's so much good work happening, and to find ways to build on its strengths through things like Protect Our People is a great example of how we build on those strengths and amplify that work. And so I'm really appreciative of the work that you're doing, that you choose to put your roots down in the North End, in the Social Enterprise Center that you're doing. You're mashing up your business vision and work, and it's inherently intertwined with community. And I think that's so beautiful. So thank you so much for all that you do. I'm really happy that, that we've been able to work alongside in different ways over the last few years. And I look forward to staying connected. And you know what? I feel like we'll need a much longer conversation on this because there's lots to talk about. Yes. Thank you everyone for joining us today for Mondays with Mel. We'll see you next week. And yes, please do follow Vincent Design and Protect Our People MB. Bye.